Family structures are changing, but what about their financial planning needs? We spoke with Stacy Francis of Francis Financial about traditional advice for non-traditional families. Does traditional financial advice apply to non-traditional families?
Traditional financial advice definitely does apply to non-traditional families because someone going through divorce, they are still going to need to be thinking about estate planning. They're going to be thinking about, how do I retire? How much money do I need? Same thing with the same-sex couple. They're going to be thinking those same questions that we all have about, how do we make our life work financially?
Do the strategies differ then to deal with sort of different family structures, or?
Some of the strategies are the same. For example, a woman needing to retire, we'll be able to run an analysis to see, okay, how much does she need to be saving each year, and what kind of budget and expenses can she have, both now and in retirement. So that's the same, but each case is a little different because for her, we might have to think about other things like, well, if she's going to be on her own, she might need long-term care. Who's going to be taking care of her? And a married couple, yes, long-term care should be important too, but it's possibly less important in the sense that if there's a unit, especially if there's children involved, not that you still want to, ignore long-term care, but it's not necessarily as important as, let's say, a woman living on her own with no children.
So in your practice, you work with divorced women. That's one area that you sort of focus on. What are the specific issues that come up for women going through divorce?
We work with a lot of women going through divorce, and the most important issue that they have is this fear that they're going to be a bag lady, that they're going to die alone and penniless. And what we need to do is really help them, educate them, to show them that is not necessarily the case. And in order to protect yourself against that, this is the type of income that you need to have. These are the reasonable expenses that you can have as well. To really give them the knowledge, and that fear and anxiety of being that bag lady, it is 100% coming from the fact that they just don't have the knowledge and they don't have the information and the education that they need.
The traditional family is becoming less traditional. It's just becoming more common to have a non-traditional family. Do you see that?
Even the non-traditional is becoming traditional. So what it means is that us as financial planners, us as investment advisors, we need to be able to adapt too, because there's no one right solution that's right for everyone. And so making sure that we're thinking outside the box for solutions that are going to work for every single client.
What does that mean for a planner?
The biggest thing to keep in mind is ideally to have communication with the client. A great example, a couple came in, they're both Harvard MBAs, their parents paid for all of their education, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we just assumed we're going to do planning for college for their baby. And, what type of college would you like to make sure you can afford in their plan? And they both looked at us as financial planners and said to us that they actually did not want to pay for college for their child. What does that mean? It means that you need to speak to your clients. You can't assume or make any guesses of what they want. You need to have that open communication so that you can understand what their values and goals are, because what you think they might be, it's not necessarily the case.